All right, hello everybody. This is Brian Reed, and this is now the beginning of week 2. I hope that you were able to make your way through week 1 without too many serious issues. I would ask that if you are having any trouble with links, or if there are issues with trying to get onto something or access a link to something, that if you can't access it or it won't upload or download or that kind of thing, please contact the tech folks in the ops program. That would be any link that is associated with Blackboard already that's on there. If there's some sort of problem with these mini lectures that I am giving, then that's on me. But everything else, I would ask that you double click on those earlier rather than later, because then we will have a problem with trying to access things if we're looking at it Saturday or even Sunday when things are due for the most part. So please, if you are having any technical difficulties, make sure that you contact the ops people at the tech folks in the ops program, and they will help you with that. Robert Shields, he may be the go-to for that particular issue. Sorry. All right, so week 2, we have our first paper that we are going to be typing, turning in, and we also have a pre-writing journal that's going to go along with that. I'm going to kind of work in tandem, the paper and the pre-writing journal. It is a position paper that you are writing this week, and we want you to definitely take a clear position on what it is you are honestly taking issue with. It's obviously something that there is disagreement with, whether you agree with it and you are siding with those that agree, or that you disagree with what the issue is. Take a side. Take a clear side with that issue. It could be, for instance, in the educational world, it could be with the Common Core. I know that people in the math department, for instance, at my school, are extremely upset with this new form of testing and new form of pedagogy and teaching in general, and they are fit to be tied, whereas the language arts, the English teachers, we love it. So take a position and argue, agree or disagree, but take a clear position as you are finding out what the disagreement is, or you are arguing what the disagreement is there. It could be lengthening retirement age. It could be media influence on self-image, that kind of issue, especially when we're talking about young ladies. Definitely take a clear position, though. Going back to the paper, it's going to be a 3-page paper. We need to have at least 3 sources. We want to cite those in MLA style, and we also want to make sure that one of those is they need to all be reliable sources, but I believe that the directions would also include a book, a reliable book source. Along with that, you have your pre-writing outline. Excuse me, I'm referring to my notes here. You have your pre-writing outline that you are going to use the St. Martin's Guide as your reference, as you are writing out that particular outline. I would like for you to give me the mini headings such as brainstorm, framing the issue, formulating a working thesis, developing reasons, supporting your position, readers' concerns and objections, your outline, how you plan to outline your essay, and then I do want you to also include your smart thinking feedback. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. So make sure that you fill in those areas. Those are all pertaining to your paper. So for instance, how do you plan to go about brainstorming how you're going to argue this issue of Common Core? So it could be through some sort of web design or web that you want to bring up, or it could be columns, it could be formal notes with Roman numerals type of thing. That could be how you brainstorm. Framing the issue, formulating a working thesis, so on and so forth. St. Martin's Guide, they lay that out for you on those page numbers, so you can look there, you can refer to those page numbers as you are working through how to respond to each of those mini headings or those subheadings. Again, you want to make sure that your pre-writing outline correlates to your 3-page paper. Why not? It makes sense. So that's what you're going to do for those 2 assignments. Now, I want you guys to, excuse me, I said that we're going week by week, but I want you to be thinking, you don't have to make this particular paper something that is going to expand or extend into your argument paper, which is over the next couple of weeks, and then your final research paper. But it can certainly be something that you develop into your argument paper that we're going to get into for week 3 and 4, and then your final research paper. It can be something that you add to. You're going to have to switch some of your language and choose some wording that you're going to have to reformulate, type of thing, but I would rather you build on this particular issue if it's one of your choosing, passion, your discourse community, something that you're looking at. I would rather you do it that way instead of having to write 3 different papers each time. That's my humble advice to you, but if you want to go with something different each time, then fine, that's absolutely fine. But I have noticed that when I get feedback from the students, they really do appreciate the fact that, okay, I see that I started with this particular position paper, then I took that and I developed it into the cause and effect, or different terms that we use for week 2 and 3 paper that we're going to come up with, and then finally they use that even to develop into their research, their final research, 10-page research paper. So it actually worked in their favor. So be thinking about it that way, in that way, if you want to go that route. And again, of course, please feel free to email me if you guys have any questions regarding how you want to go about, or if you have questions about the paper in general. I've heard from and spoken to a couple of you already, so definitely make sure if you have any questions that you email me earlier rather than later, so maybe I can help you formulate a thesis or how we can whittle down that topic, because we definitely want to think about it as a funnel. We don't want to start too large. You don't want to take a position for any of these papers such as healthcare or abortion or anything like that. You want to bring it down and focus it. So definitely be thinking about that as you move on this week. Let's see, videos on creating a position. Yes, Dr. Bartels has included several videos on how you can go about creating a position for your position paper. Great short little videos there for you to take a look at, so I encourage you to do that. We have a reading quiz for the St. Martin's Guide, open book. Fine, go for it. Take that quiz this week. The smart thinking, make sure that you definitely take a look at that and submit your paper early. I strongly suggest that you get your paper finished by Wednesday, because you do need to submit the proof that you have had somebody take a look at that paper. So I would say get your paper done by Wednesday, because it usually takes about 2 days to get it back to you from them. So I would say check that off and get that done by Wednesday, so that the turnaround, it does take a couple of days. You don't want to be stuck by Sunday night, but schedules as they are, you do what you can do, okay? So make sure that you get the paper turned in sooner rather than later. For your analyzing position arguments, that again, I believe that you have to choose some passages, some pieces from the St. Martin's Guide from the chapter. All you need to do is, in fact, Dr. Bartels has included that great example from the Onion article. It's a great article. It's a great video, actually. Take a look at that. It's hilarious. But it's a short little paragraph that you are basically just analyzing an argument and what strategy they used to create a convincing argument, or whether you think it was convincing or not. Pretty weak, pretty strong. Again, take a position and identify the strategy that the writer used and talk about it, and that's basically all you're doing for that particular assignment and the St. Martin's Guide chapter. You definitely want to make sure that you are referencing something from one of those articles in the chapter, and also if you need to, or if you're interested in using it in your paper, talk about something, how you might want to use one of these strategies in your paper, or how it really won't apply to your paper. That's okay. I am not asking you to respond to anybody this week for the discussion. I believe it's part of the discussion board, but I don't want you guys to worry about that this week. You have a lot going on this week. I don't want you having to worry about talking to other people or posting on 2 other people's discussion boards. And again, that's why am asking that if you guys can be patient with me, we go week by week, because some of that language I do change and I edit out because there's just way too much going on, and I'd rather you focus on the paper and the pre-writing journal and taking a look at those other little videos for how to create a position instead of commenting on people's analyzing position arguments assignment. If you want to, go for it. If you don't, go for it. Either way, I'm fine. Again, you guys have a great week. Make sure that you guys are steadily working, that you are creating some sort of structure in your lives so that it is not overwhelming, working at it a little bit at a time. Get that paper submitted to Smart Thinking before Thursday, perhaps, hopefully, so that you can get feedback from them, and then you can submit everything and get that proof to or submitted to Blackboard. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to email me, and I will post again for week 3. Have a great week. Take care.